Hey friends, today we're going to practice comparing fractions. So as you can see, you can compare fractions that refer to either the same size whole or the same size group. This model shows two same size circles that are each divided into fourths. So we have this one that's divided into 3/4 because 1, 2, 3 parts are shaded, and this one that's divided into 2/4 because 1, 2 parts are shaded. The parts are of equal size. So this circle equals this circle, right? And the model shows that 3 of the same size parts are greater than 2. So we know that 3/4 is greater than 2/4. And so we would just use those greater than and less than signs, saying something like this. We would chomp that bigger fraction, just like we would chomp that bigger number. Down here, it says that the model shows two different size circles that are also divided into 4. So this one says 3/4 and this one says 2/4. And it says that the circles are different sizes. So the fourths are different sizes. Friends, you cannot compare the fractions because the wholes are different. You can only compare fractions whenever the whole parts are the same size, okay? They can be broken off into different parts, but the wholes have to be the same size. Because over here, this is saying that 3/4 is less than 2/4, and we know that 2/4 is not bigger than 3/4. It shows that it is on these ones because the circles are different sizes, but it's not true. 3/4 is actually bigger than 2/4, and these circles up here actually prove that. These circles down here are wrong. We cannot do them because they are not the same size. So we cannot compare those fractions. Of course, 3/4 would look bigger than 2/4 or would look smaller than 2/4 because the circle is smaller. So the main thing is we have to make sure that the shapes are the same size. All right, friends, so these are the symbols we're going to be practicing. This symbol shows it's greater than. This symbol that points to the left is less than, and this symbol is equal to. All right, and so when we compare fractions that have the same denominator, okay, the size of the numerator determines which fraction is greater. So just like before, when the denominators are the same, when we compare numbers, we would chomp the bigger number. And so when the denominators are the same, we would do the same thing because it's the same equal parts. So 2/6 and 5/6. Okay, and I know that 2 is less than 5, so my equation would look something like this. 2/6 is less than 5/6, okay? So that happens whenever the denominators are the same. So let's talk about whenever the denominators are different. Over here, for example, we have 3/4 and 3/8. So now the numerators are the same. So they're both 3 parts. So we have to take a look at that denominator. So we can use fraction strips to help us and represent 3/4. Okay. We notice that the fourths are broken off into bigger pieces, and eighths, they're broken off into 8 pieces. So in that same whole, we know that the fourths are bigger than the eighths. It's sort of opposite, right? Because we would typically say, well, I know 4 is less than 8, so I would go ahead and say 3/4 is less than 3/8. But really, friends, look at 3/4. It's actually greater than 3/8 because those fourths are bigger than the eighths. So when we're talking about fractions and the denominators are different, that's when we have to think and sort of almost do the opposite. And we know that 3/4 is greater than 3/8, okay? Because the fourths have greater pieces. So the fourths have bigger pieces instead of the eighths that have smaller pieces, okay? So let's go ahead and practice this in homework tonight, and we'll continue practicing the rest of the week. Great job today, friends.